Okie doke, let's go through the tools that I've gathered for this job. So I've got, it says you'll need a 12 and a 13 millimeter spanner. I also have a 13 millimeter ratcheting spanner when I got that. 5 millimeter, 6 millimeter Allen head key, and because I've already installed some stuff on the Royal Enfield in the past, I went ahead and grabbed a 5 and 6 millimeter with a socket. It says that you'll need a 10 millimeter, so I got my 10 millimeter, not in the directions, but went ahead and grabbed a short and long extension and my socket. And then it says that we'll be torquing some stuff down, so I got my torque wrench, my 10 millimeter socket for that, and you know, an extension for my torque wrench. So that's what is said that we need for this particular install. So it's out and ready to go. First things first, as always with this motorcycle, we're going to take our key, we're going to stick it in here, we're going to turn this. That's we got to turn it at the same time as we pull this rear seat off. Set that right there. Pull that rear seat off. Set that over here out of the way on my wife's Can-Am. And then from there, we can then pull this seat off because it's held in by that, and this little bar, these little bar hooks right here. Set that over here, nice and safe and sound on my wife's Can-Am, so I can get junk all over her seat. All right, now in the directions, it says that we're going to need to pull these two 10 millimeter bolts and these two, it looks like 5 millimeter Allen head screws. Yep, 5 millimeter. So we're going to go ahead and start there, and that should remove this piece right here so that we can start the process for installing the rack. Okay, once that's done, you see I removed these two 10 millimeter bolts, and then under here there was a 5 millimeter Allen head key right here, 5 millimeter Allen head key here. Looks like you can just kind of gently set this down on the rear tire, and that opens up our ability to pop these nuts off here. And of course we are going to be getting at these nuts right here as well, because installing the pannier rack is right there. All right, so just getting a good look here. This is the 12 millimeter spanner right here. This is your 6 millimeter hex head bit or Allen bit. So I went ahead and just kind of show you how to get at these little bolts right here. And then of course the bolts back here are actually underneath. I'm only going to do one side at a time, but I'm going to go ahead and pull these two bolts. So I kind of wanted to take a moment to show you what hardware's in the kit. Some spacers, some long screws here. I think these are going to replace our rear screws, and some short screws. I'm hoping they go somewhere across the back. And then these two reflectors, and I don't know what we're going to do with those just yet. But the next piece, oh yeah, this is going to go on the lower. This is going to go on the lower foot peg, on your fastener foot peg. I bet you money. So the next step in the process is to get these spacers out, because they go here, and and they are not want to cooperate. Also, I want to be clear about something. When you're popping these 6 millimeter Allen key with the 13 millimeter spanner on the back, I can tell you right now, the force is strong with those. They got a little bit of blue Loctite on them, looks like, from the factory. But I got them out nonetheless, so I'm going to use my rubber mallet to kind of bang these spacers in without marring them, and then continue along on the install. So right now we've just done this side. So once we get done with this side, then we'll kind of switch around and do the other side. Now on the kit that I've got, we've got these. I think they're over 100 millimeters. They're like 110 millimeter bolts. They're 10. It's got a 10 millimeter cap on it, so you're going to be using that. And it says not to tighten this down, so I went ahead and took these spacers. They're a tight fit themselves, and put them in. And we're going to just kind of put that all the way in there, and just kind of test fit this whole thingamajig, and then we'll kind of test fit our pannier rack. Just kind of want to get here, but test fit the thing. I want to let y'all know that, like, it says in the directions not to tighten any of this down, but I try to test fit everything, so when I videotape the actual thing I don't look like an idiot. Alright, here you can see I've got it mocked up, finger tight. All of this is just finger tight. And the next step is to come over here and then get your M8 by 50, and we're going to install that down here on the passenger foot peg, which they have conveniently put a nice little hole right here. And of course I don't have it all tightened up, so I can take kind of advantage of that. So it goes right here in this little hole. And there's already a pre-drilled hole on your factory Himalayan. Sorry, getting my motorcycles mixed up. I do own an Africa Twin. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and get that mocked up, and then once we have that mocked up, then we're going to tighten everything. All right. So now we've got all this done. Just so you know, it's a 12 millimeter spanner to get these nuts off. These right here, but the nuts that come with the kit are 13 millimeter, so you'll need a 13 millimeter spanner. So at this point we've just got them socket tight, and now we need to torque them all down to 30 foot-pounds or 45 newton meters. So that's my next step. I'm gonna go ahead and torque these down so they don't untorque and fall off while I'm riding. Okay, so now we're over here on the left hand side. So we're gonna repeat these steps. 6 millimeter Allen key, 12 millimeter spanner. Pull this, and then this hole is drilled from the factory. So that's where we'll be attaching that M8 by 50 millimeter nut. So we're gonna go ahead and pull that apart as well. It's I didn't really do this on the other side, but it's kind of interesting to me how well this aftermarket piece fits in here. You gotta, you don't want to mar this stuff, but you gotta tap it in there. Those are the spacers for this side. And next we're gonna go ahead and mock up the pannier for this with the two long bolts and the M8 50 millimeter bolt down there. I think these are M8s too, but that should we're getting there. Actually, pretty quick install. Let's take a moment to talk about stupid things people say. And in the very last video, I literally said, "Oh, this is turning into a quick install." Well, it stopped being a quick install. This bolt right here, I've got it on now, but it did not line up properly. I tried everything. I put her up on her center stand. I loosened all the bolts and tried to get her to go back on, but she wouldn't. Tale of caution. I know that the thing says for you to put the rear tail assembly on the rear tire, but when I put it up, it fell, and it left a little mar where it flipped upside down and landed on my garage floor. So I'm a little irritated right now. That was not the the easy assembly. I'm a little out of breath after wrestling this this bolt in. I ended up having to just slightly drill out. It was, I mean, it was millimeters, like 2 millimeters of difference, and it just would not go in. And I had to get my drill bit out and stick my drill bit through here and kind of pull down on the frame to try and get as close to the hole as possible. And when I did, the drill bit like caught and immediately went through the hole and kind of held it there. And then I could get a punch through this end and into here so that I could then push it on. So we're done, but the ease of the install suddenly got very difficult. So caution on what you say. I'm a little miffed. If you are taking this rear fender off, just go ahead and disconnect this piece and put it under your I just set mine over here on the Africa Twin. Whew, okay, onward and upward. So as you can see now, I have reassembled and torqued all these bolts. This connector here fell off, and so what I did was just to make sure that the connector's good, I went ahead and just kind of halfway installed, put these two 10 millimeter bolts back in. Haven't tightened them down. I just wanted to hold the fender in place well enough to where I can actually with both hands reconnect this connector and make sure that it's okay. So checked my connector, and before I reinstall everything, I want to make sure that all my lights work as they should. Yeah, so all right, so we got the connector reconnected and secured. I think more than anything, more than the little bit of damage it did to my rear fender, because you can't really see it, I was more worried about, like, once you put the bike up on the center stand, this piece just snapped out, but it didn't break anything. And I realized what had happened was when you put the bike up on the center stand, the rear wheel dropped, and when it did, it lifted unsupported. So that was, you know, not really Royal Enfield's fault, my fault. But getting that last bolt in, man, I'm still out of breath from wrestling with this pannier on this side. But we got it all together. All my bolts are now torqued down to 30 foot-pounds. We got spec. My lights still work. Everything's good to go. So we're gonna go ahead and put the seat, reinstall the seat and stuff, and put her back down off the center stand. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is your install of the Royal Enfield OEM Pannier racks. So to finish, I didn't record it, but you put those two 10 millimeter bolts back in the top like I had, and then don't forget to install these little boogers, because they're black and you might forget them. Just laying on your garage floor, not paying any attention, and the next thing you know, oh crap, what are those two bolts to? So that's what we got, and that's all buttoned up. I know I've covered in previous videos how to reinstall the seat. What these are for, I have no idea. I can't see anywhere that they go on the Pannier rack. They weren't referenced in the directions. So, but we're good to go now. And I'm going to go ahead and cut to the outro. Thanks again for watching and supporting Lost in the Bush. The channel keeps growing, and I finally had a video that really hit. My Akribus 23-liter tank install has racked up over 3,000 views at this point and brought in about 45 new subscribers. Huge thanks out there to everyone who has joined. Before we wrap up, I want to take a quick shout out to the Lost in the Bush Facebook group. As of editing this video, we are up to 12 members, and it's only going to keep growing. This is where I'll be sharing extra content updates and even downloadable tracks as the community expands. Also, don't forget, on April 1st, probably right around when this video will be published on YouTube, Stephen and I will be setting out on the Smoky Mountain 500. We will be filming that ride, so stay tuned for those videos. If you haven't already, hop over to the Facebook and join the group. Let's build a place for adventure riders like us to share routes, tips, and stories from the road. Link is in the description. As I have said before, I'm very interested in growing this channel and my Facebook group. I want to assure you at this point that I am not monetized. And any opinions that I express are my own opinions. They are my genuine opinions, and nobody has paid me for them. I know that seems small, but a lot of times when somebody is being paid to review a product, I feel like I can't trust their opinion as much as somebody who paid money out of their own pocket. As I try to grow this channel, I would like to share with you that I do not have enough subscribers on my YouTube channel yet for YouTube to analyze my client profile so that I can better tailor my videos for you, my YouTube audience. I'm just now getting into short form videos. I hope you're enjoying those as I try to focus on some of the more humorous and funny moments that we have while we're out doing this adventure riding thing. Anyway, before I go, I would like to invite you to like this video, comment on this video, good or bad, just please be constructive, and please, please, please subscribe to this channel and stay on board with me as I do my dead level best to continue to improve.